Good afternoon, Cowboys Nation. This is B-Bird Cowboy coming back at you. It's been a little bit since I put out a video. I've had to take both my daughter and my son back to college, so I've been kind of busy this week. But a lot of things have transpired since I last put a video up. Not back and forth, but a lot of things have come out about the Micah Parsons. Sound like Jerry. The Micah Parsons contract situation. And I've been watching Twitter and watching some videos and some content creators, just trying to get the take of a lot of people out there. And I've been getting mixed opinions on it. Some people are taking Jerry's side, and some people are taking Micah's side, and some people are flip-flopping with the new information that they got. So I just wanted to give you my take on it. For Micah, first of all, Micah, you should have never talked to Jerry Jones without your agent there. I mean, you can respectfully decline that with Jerry. You're not prepared to negotiate with a guy like Jerry Jones, who's been negotiating contracts outside of football and inside of football for upwards of 30 to 40 years now. So you're just not equipped for that. So you got to know what you don't know. And when the negotiations, I guess the talk was supposed to be about leadership, and then when it started going into what you want as a contract, that should have been your stopping point. I think you wanted to be friendly with Jerry, thinking that that was going to help negotiations, but it wasn't. You got to almost take the Dak approach, be professional about your business. I really don't think Dak is buddy-buddy with Jerry and Steven. I think it's all about business. And I think partly of it is because of the way Dak was treated as far as franchise tags and those kind of things. But I like what Dez Bryant said. I think he was on the pivot. This was maybe a year or two ago. When Jerry came to talk to him about contracts, he stopped Jerry in the middle and he said something like, "Hey, Jerry, do you think you can cover me on the field? We go onto the field?" He said, "No, you'd eat me up alive." And he said, "I can't, you would eat me up alive in his boardroom, in his negotiating table. So I got a man for that." And he was absolutely right. I don't deal with that kind of stuff. I hire a professional to do that. So why am I talking about it? And so Jerry is very charismatic too, right? That I think that's his, that would be a superpower. He's charismatic. I mean, he can talk to you and make you feel like it's just you and him in the room. So those kind of people, you got to realize that's their strength. So just stay away from those situations. You're just not going to win in that situation. I think, and most of my issue is with Jerry Jones and the way he's handling this. And I super chatted a boss last night on their show. And I'll give you an analogy or a story that's similar to this. And it's not a real story, it's something I made up. But in my family, I do the negotiation for cars whenever get my wife a new car or my kids a new car or whatever. I'm the one that negotiates the deal. And if I set up an appointment with a car dealer and have my wife meet me down there, but I'm going to be an hour late. And my wife test drives the car and she likes the car. And then the salesman, knowing I've been communicating with him, starts talking about, cost with my wife, like how much it's going to cost. How much do she want the monthly note to be? And he may say something like, "Hey, I can get you this Mercedes-Benz for $300 a month," which sounds good. And my wife's like, "Wow, that sounds real good, man. That, hey, if you could do that, we got a deal." And so 30 minutes later, I come in and the salesperson say, "Well, I think we got a deal." And I'm asking, "Okay, so what's the deal?" "Well, you're going to be able to get this, $75,000 car for $300 a month." So that sounds good, but how many months is it? "Well, it's going to be 97 months. Okay. Or something like that. So I'm going to say, "No, that's no deal." And he may say something like, "Well, your wife agreed to it. Well, did she sign anything?" No, she didn't. Well, I'm the one that does that. Me and you had this conversation. That's my job to talk numbers with you. It's her job, does she like the car or not? But you went to another area that you should never been in. You could let her test drive to see if she likes the car. But you wait till I come in so we can talk numbers. You talk numbers to the wrong person. That doesn't even count. And so the salesperson can get mad at me, but nothing's signed, nothing's sealed, nothing delivered. So Jerry knows this, and he tried to pull a fast one over on Micah and his agent. And so I just think that Jerry was out of line with that, and for him to stick to it like they had a deal. That's like the salesman saying, "But you said $300," and no, that don't even sound right. So that's not a deal, and you made the deal with the wrong person. So I've talked about this before on shows. I probably talked about it here, but the owner GM, that model just does not work anymore at all, especially at the negotiation tables. Because Jerry gets his feelings and ego involved. The agent and the GM protects the player and the owner respectively, right? So what I mean by that is this. The agent is there because he has knowledge, but also there's a buffer between what the GM's going to say about the player as far as negotiations are concerned. So whenever these negotiations go through, the agent don't have to tell the players what the GM said, right? So he can sign a contract and go on with this ignorant bliss of not knowing what the guy thought of him or whatever, just to try to get a better deal. He is the buffer, the agent is between, and he does it hard negotiating. All the tough words, he's taking those in. That's part of his job. The thing is that the owner has a buffer too. That guy's called the GM. And so, but when the owner is at the table and it's his money, he takes things personal. I often said that the Dak Prescott negotiation got contentious and Jerry got personal with that. And what did he do? He went traded for Trey Lance. The reason why I said it was personal, reason why I say he got into his feelings, he got emotional, is because he didn't tell the scouting department. He didn't tell Will McClay. He didn't tell the head coach nor anyone on the coaching staff he was doing it. He just went and did it, right? Because what he wanted to do is he wanted Trey Lance to come in and show out so he can have some leverage against Dak Prescott. It just never materialized. But if he's an owner of, say, Intel, computer chips or whatever, and he had the Dallas Cowboys on the side, and he had a general manager and a president that handled all that stuff, he would never have these feelings. That's what they're there for. GM is there for a buffer between, the owner and the agent. So the GM model don't work because name another GM you see on TV, on podcasts, trying to, make his case against Micah. No other GM is doing that with their superstar players. They're just not doing it. One of the things about emotions, I had this story, I'll share it with y'all. A long time ago, I used to gamble and I wasn't good at it. I did a lot of sports gambling, but also played blackjack and I wasn't good at that either. So one day I was at the job and me and his engineer was talking about, blackjack, this, that, other gambling. He said, yeah, I play blackjack and I have a friend of mine that plays professional poker. And so we just started talking and tell him about, yeah, man, I always, I go to blackjack, man. I don't win that much when I go. And he said, you do have the card, right? And I said, well, what card are you talking about? And he said, they have a card to tell you when to hit and when to hold. And I was like, a card? He said, yeah, they got a card that you can have. He said, I'll bring it tomorrow. So he brought it out, and sure enough, it was a card with all kind of scenarios on it that said that, on this you take a hit, on this you split, on this you double down. And so I took it and I was like, okay, so what do I do with this? I got to memorize everything on this card? He said, no, you can take it and put it right on the table. They understand that it's not against the law to have this card. I was like, really? And he said, with this card, if you follow it, I don't know the percentages. I think he said the house has a 50.5% chance of winning. You have a 49.5% chance of winning. He said, but it all depends on how the cards fall. So prior to that, when I was going out there going off gut feel and intuition and hunches, trying to play blackjack, I was losing. But not only was I losing, I was like, I would be driving home like really like down because I lost. I should have took a hit here. I shouldn't have taken that hit. I shouldn't have split. I shouldn't have doubled down here. Really second guessing myself. So I only went to casino one time after that, and I took that card with me. Me and my wife went down there. And so I sat at the table with the card out. And so every time I did exactly what the card told me to do. Take a hit, split, or don't take a hit, double down on this and that. I followed it by the letter. I actually ended up winning, which a few times that I did. I actually ended up winning. But most importantly, what I didn't do is when I lost a hand, I did not get into my feelings about it, get down on myself, because I know I did the right thing. Because I did the right thing because the odds, the statistics, the stats, said to take a hit or not. So it was out of my hand. I did the right thing. It just didn't work out that way. So what I'm trying to tell you is that card helped take the emotions out of my decisions. And it was just business. And however the cards landed. I'm telling you all that to tell you that that's how the Cowboys need to operate. You can't sign players and then when they miss games, now you're saying, hey, we shouldn't have signed that guy. He's missing games. You paid him all this money. Now you're in your feelings. You like I was playing off your hunches. What other GMs say is that, hey, I'm going to sign this guy and whatever happens, it's the right thing to do. Whatever happens, happens. Like if he gets hurt, I can't do anything about that. So I'll give you this example, what I tell everybody. Dallas, I-45 goes from Houston to Dallas. If I blindfold myself at 3 p.m. on a Monday and ran across I-45, just because I made it to the other side don't mean it was a good decision. The decision, the judging of the decision happens before you make it. You can't really sometimes help what happens after you make the decision. Things happen, and you can't go back and second guess yourself on those things. And so what I would tell the Jones is, with a guy like CD, a guy like Dak, a guy like Micah, you just got to sign those guys. That's what good teams do. Micah's other cohorts in his draft have already been signed. If they would have signed him last year, if they would have signed Dak early, if they would have signed CD early, think about how much money they would have left. Why don't you ever hear things about Philly players like this? They sign them early, man. What they do is they have the foresight to say that this player is going to be one of our, foundational players. So if he's going to be one of our foundational players, let's sign him now. What's waiting a year going to do? Drive the price up. Hey, let's go with him with an offer right now and save some money. He's going to be here. Do we all agree he's going to be here? Yeah. Well, hey, let's sign him. Another thing is the GM in Pittsburgh signed TJ Watt to a contract July 17 prior to training camp, and you didn't hear much anything about the negotiation. That's how it's supposed to be done in silence, man. All these things don't have to be played out through the media. Micah Parsons is different than CeeDee Lamb. He's different than Dak Prescott. We don't know how this is going to happen, even if he does sign. We don't know what kind of effect that this is going to have on him. He's more of a Dez Bryant emotional type guy. So we don't know how this thing is going to play out. He's kind of a wild card. But it makes no sense because even at now, I don't know if they wait a few more days and then they sign him. Will he be ready to play when the season comes around? Or Philadelphia, will he be ready for that game? I don't know. But I can tell you that these holdouts and injuries kind of go hand in hand. So I don't think you can wrap him up in 2 weeks and then have him play, or less than 2 weeks, and then having him play on Philadelphia on Thursday night. I just don't know about that. So the last thing I want to say is that the franchise tag really only hurts the Cowboys. I know they're saying like, well, we got Micah for 3 more years. We got him this year on his regular contract. and then we got him. We could franchise tag him and franchise tag him. And I hear some fans on Twitter and other places saying, "Yeah, they could franchise him and they got control over him." If you know anything, you know that if you don't know this, but if they sign Micah to a franchise tag of $35 million, that $35 million counts dead against the cap, because that's what happened with Dak Prescott. If you want your team to spend $35 million against the cap on a defensive end instead of signing to a long-term contract to where it might be $17 million a year, then you're mistaken. Okay, I'm back. I had to step away for a moment. The franchise tag, no fan should want the franchise tag. If you go look at the Philly model, what they do is sign their players, give them upfront money, and keep their salary caps low so they can sign other players, either their own players or they sign free agents. So for Cowboy fans, free agents are people that played on other teams, say Cincinnati, Kansas City, Baltimore, whose contracts have expired, and they're free to go anywhere. That's what a free agent is. So we might not remember what those guys are, but that's what it is. And so that's what they do. They keep their salary. They keep the salaries of their star players low, the base salary, so they can sign other players. So, for instance, last year, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Jalen Hurts only cost $33 million against the cap last year. It's the structure of the contracts. So no one should want us to have to spend $35 million on Micah Parsons, and he hits the cap. We're just not going to win that way. But other than that, too, then you got to sign Pickens. You got Bland, Tyler Smith's coming up. That franchise tag is going to take up some of that salary space, too, for that. So I really think that when people say stuff like that online, fans, I'm just going to be real 100 with y'all. I told y'all I can have followers or not. That's people that don't like these players anyway, right? Some people were waiting on Jerry Jones today just to give them anything. If Jerry would have said something like, well, the reason why Mike is not signed because, the agent, hung up the phone or something like that. Oh, yeah, that's what it is. There's a lot of people that don't like these players for certain reasons, don't like them getting paid. They always side with the billionaires. They siding with a guy that's in a 30-year drought, a guy that has done this over and over again. He's the one that has the track record of not getting big deals done fast enough. Some people are bringing up T. Higgins for I can't think of his name, Mulagata, saying that he dropped him, and that's they flag. Look, he dropped. Yeah, but look at all the successful ones that he had, right? And look at the organization that he did it with. Cincinnati is just that Brown guy, the owner there. He's Jerry Jones Jr. without the charisma. To be totally honest with you, he stepped away one season. They got to the Super Bowl, and now his hands back in it. So they got Trey Hendrickson over there, and they can't get him signed. T. Higgins, they took him. So that's what happens when the owner gets too involved, man. What you really want is an owner that has made his money and is still making his money in some kind of outside industry, to whereas the football team is more of a hobby to him. And he comes check in on it every now and then. And so that's what you really want but Jerry, this is his business. And he is way too close to this business, man. And so that's what the issue is. I can't really understand how people can actually take Jerry Jones' side, to be totally honest with you. After what happened last year with Dak, the slander, the CD slander, now the Micah slander. You know what I'm saying? I don't see how y'all can actually side with that, to be totally honest with you. This guy wants to play. He's ready to play. All the other defensive ends, with the exception of Hendrickson, has not been signed. Again, another toxic front office. but all the other ones have been signed. So I think it's just time to get this guy in camp, man. If you get him in now, he still may not be ready for the first game. So that's it. That's just my opinion right now. Hope to hear from y'all later. Hope to get more videos out, working with more content creators. Shout out to Jay Tuck, CFO. I did hear him today, maybe going in a different direction. Shout out to Law, shout out to Sky, these guys that have been in it before me. Boss Cowboys, Boss Show Me, Landlord from Alabama, HTM. Just some guys that I always listen to that I'm inspired by, that also made me stargazer, that made me want to do this thing, man. So hopefully y'all enjoy the video, and like, share, and subscribe. Share this if you can. Cowboys out.